Welcome to Telios Tutors. In this video I'm going to show you how to convert improper fractions, also known as top-heavy fractions, into something called mixed fractions. So an improper fraction is where the numerator is larger than the denominator. So in this case 8 is larger than 3, 15 is larger than 9 and so on. And we'd like to convert this into a mixed fraction. So the example of a mixed fraction would be something like 2.5 or 3 1/3 or 4 2/5 and so on, where we'll have an integer or a whole number and then a fraction that follows next to it. So how do we do that? Well, the first thing we do is we look at the denominator, so in this case 3, and then we ask ourselves how many times does 3 go into 8 that's just under 8 and not too low or too high. So the answer is 2, since 3 times 2 gives us 6, which is just below 8, okay? And another way I can show you how the answer is 2 is, let's just say that, so in this case we're looking at 3 times tables here, so 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9. So we're looking for the number that's closest to 8, but it has to be just under 8. So in this case it's this one here, okay? So it can't be this one. It can't be this one since it's higher than 8, so it has to be this one here. And so we take the 2 here, and that's where this 2 comes into here, okay? That's the whole number first of all. So once we have the whole number, we would have to then look at the answer to 3 times 2, which is 6. And then we look at the numerator, in this case 8, then we subtract the 2, okay? So 8 minus 6 gives us 2, and that's where the 2 goes into here. And then finally, this bit's the easiest part, the denominator stays exactly the same, so in this case 3. So 8 over 3 is equivalent to 2 2/3. So let's try another example here. So in the same way, we want to convert 15 over 9 into a mixed fraction. So how do we do that? Well, we can do the 9 times tables. Let's just write that down. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 3 is 27. Okay, so we would like to find a number that multiplies 9 to give us a number that's nearest to 15, that it has to be just under 15. So in this case it's this one here. It can't be these two since they're higher than 15. So we have this one we need to focus on. So once we have this, the integer is always the one that 9 or the denominator is being multiplied by to give us that number. So in this case it's 1. So we have 1 here, and then again we take this numerator and then we subtract it from this number here, so 15 minus 9, and that's 6, and that's where this comes into it. And then finally the denominator stays the same, so we have 9 here. So let's do another example here. So 14 over 5s. So how many 5s go into 14? So again, I'm going to illustrate it here by writing out a few of the 5 times tables. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 3 is 15. Okay, so we're looking for the number that's just below 14. So in this case, it's this one here. Okay, so we circle this one. And then the integer, the whole number that goes here, is this number here once again, so it's 2. And then the numerator here is simply the remainder of this number subtracted by our answer here. So 14 take away 10 is 4. And then finally our denominator stays the same. So 14 over 5 is equivalent to 2 4/5. So let's do one more example here. So 17 over 4, so I'm just going to write out a few of the 4 times tables. And 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, so we'd like to find the number that's just under 17, so it's going to be this one. Circle that. And then our whole number is going to be this number here, so in this case 4. And then the numerator here is simply the subtraction of this number and this number. So in this case, 17 minus 16 is 1. And then the denominator stays the same. So there we have it. 17 over 4 is equivalent to 4 1/4. And that's how you convert improper fractions to mixed fractions.